Hello there and welcome to another video of Naval Action with RunGB. With open world still in maintenance, well, we are going to have battle with Cerberus in the sea trials. Again, sea trials still doesn't have the new damage model nor the new artillery changes that open world has. Uh, but I think this is a pretty good game in regards to depict what you can do in a battle where you have a ship that is not either one of the biggest nor one of the smallest. I actually think that the games I enjoy the most in sea trials usually are the ones I play aboard one of the biggest ships or one of the smallest ships. If you are one of the big dudes, well, you are the damage dealer. You are one who has to, well, take on the weight of the team and translating that weight into success by, well, playing with intelligence and, well, playing well. A lot of your team's hopes to win rely on you, and I like that responsibility. And of course, I like the fact that anything in the other team I can take on because I'm one of the bigger ships in the battle. If I'm in the smaller ships, I'm also very happy. I also enjoy a lot when I'm in I don't know, a tiny yacht or maybe a tiny privateer in a game full of, I don't know, Bellonas, victories, whatever. Because when you are a small contender, you are a very tiny ship, people don't tend to prioritize you because of course there are much bigger fish that need to be dealt with before you, so that allows you a lot of freedom to troll the enemy to no end. Essentially, in a small ship, what you need to do is to wait for the moment where you can rush for the enemy, stick in the rear end of a big ship, and yeah, well, make his life miserable from then on. Being a small ship in a very big battle usually is the best way to troll the enemy, and I like that because it's challenging in a way. Because if you are in a very small ship, that can go down with, well, it's not going to stand a lot of damage. So you really need to be careful and wait for the proper moment to go for the enemy. So there's the challenge there. And then I love the part about trolling enemies and sticking to the rear and rake them time after time after time and becoming a pest and becoming a pain in the ass. I love that as well. However, when you are in one of the middle term ships in an engagement, this is kind of crappy, you know, because you are not one of the biggest ships. You are not going to get a huge load of damage because you don't have the guns to do so. You don't have the hull to stand enough damage, so you have to be extra careful to not become a target. Like here, for instance, here I'm the most exposed ship in my team, and I'm going to be forced to tack against the wind and make me a small target because people are focusing me. And sincerely, my ship can't stand any kind of concentrated fire for any amount of time. So when you are in the middle ground ships, it's kind of the shitty situation where you really don't have the potential to do a lot of damage, and you have to run away from anything that shoots at you because it's going to destroy you. On the other hand, it has its own challenges. You have your role, you have your intended role. When you are in the middle class ship, you really need to take care of the enemy smaller ships so they don't come and troll your bigger ships. So you have your niche, you have your position, you have your role to take. But honestly, shooting at small targets is not that fun. And then of course you have your support role, because if you see your bigger ships engaged, if you go and assist them, well, they will have a much better chance to win. So yeah, it's kind of the dirty job of a player in a battle like this. Playing a ship like this, you can lose your team a battle, you can win your team a battle. You are very important, actually. but it's not as shiny or fun or, let's call it, attractive as being either a small trolley ship or a big cannon-loving monster. And I think this video pretty much depicts it pretty well. The idea that you have to look around, understand where you should be and what you should do in each moment to support your team properly without being destroyed in turn. Because a Cerberus is a ship that simply can't stand damage. Subjected to a fire, to even a surprise, it goes down really quickly. So you have to be mindful of where you are, what you do, and how to put your guns to use without becoming the main attraction. And that's hard because this is a frigate after all. This is not a yacht or a privateer, very small ship that everyone ignores because it's small. This is actually a frigate. People recognize it as a threat. Of course, it's not as a big threat as a bigger frigate, but people are not going to be reluctant to shoot at you. So, well, as you can see, the initial stages of the battle were winning the wind and taking a position where we can command the fight. It's very important. I think it's one of the biggest things in any battle to have the wind in your back and have your position between the wind and the enemy. That gives you and allows you the chance to pick them apart one by one without them being able to rush you because they can't go upwind. And here we are going to see a very good instance of that because the enemy has become spilled. Their biggest ship, a Constitution, is alone because probably he lost a turn or maybe he was the only one trying to win the wind. But he's totally isolated here and we are going to go for him and make our objective to shoot at him and sink him first. Now we have to be pretty quick about it because of course if the guy in the Constitution has a brain, he's going to make a run for it. He's not going to linger around our ships waiting to be sunk. So we have to make it quick. In the meantime, as I head towards the enemy Constitution, I'm going to try to put some shots on that surprise there. Of course, always being careful not to offer a very big target. Right now I am, but I know they are not shooting at me. The enemy is mostly shooting at the bigger frigates in front of me. And that's why I'm more or less calm, but now I can see they are fighting back. Thankfully, I'm not hit. And here you can see the Constitution coming at crossing our lines in desperation, like, hey, I don't want to be here. So what I'm going to do here is to do a very close turn towards him, to try to become parallel to his port side, then swivel back and give him a double broadside. Of course, this is going to make me a priority target for a short time, but this guy has just fired, and I'm hoping he doesn't reload in time to fire at me. So here you can see, double shot broadside. As soon as it's unloaded, I reverse my turn. The good part of this is that I'm exposed, but as you can see, all the enemy team is mostly at my front. So any return fire and the enemy Constitution is in the way of their incoming fire, so I'm more or less covered. But the problem, of course, is that the Constitution has now reloaded some of his guns. So, well, I just go for a passing broadside. I missed some of those shots because I was turning, but my plan was not to keep my position to fire the whole broadside. Much better, if you recognize you are being shot, just fire your guns, get as many hits as you can, and get the hell out of there. So, well, now the rest of my team is coming. I'm in a good position to keep my turn, go in a full circle, attacking against the wind, and weighing what's going to be my next movement. There we go, attacking against the wind. I'm receiving some fire, but nothing to worry. So again, I have a lot of teammates close by. Now I see this little privateer here, and I decide that's my next move, because of course I'm a small frigate. My main objective is probably taking those small ships. So I have my left side loaded. With a double shot, it's just ball, but still it's more than enough to ruin small ships day, as you are going to see in a second. I slow down, stabilized my aiming, and well, smash him to bits. So that's done, and the next thing is to, as I said, take the other role my ship is good for, which is assisting bigger ships. I see the enemy constitution is entangled in a close fight with one of our big frigates. So what I'm going to do is to take the chance to come and support my ally here. The only problem is that he has stopped, never ever stopped, and he almost got boarded. Never do that, ever, ever. Never stop close to a bigger ship, because he's going to come close, grapple you, and board you, and then you are fucked. Essentially, that's the whole thing. If you stop near a bigger ship, he's going to board you. So never do that. Never go full stop in front of an enemy ship like that. This anomaly was a little bit lucky. He got away with it, but most of the time you can't run away. You don't have the time before he's able to board you. But well, thankfully it didn't happen. So what I'm going to do now is to keep track on what the Trincomaly is doing. And again, he's stopped. Never going to stop insisting on it. Never fully drop sails unless you totally need to. If you need to neutralize sails, just turn your yards towards the wind, but don't stop. Don't furl all your sails, because that's bad practice, really. Well, now he's crossing my line of fire, so I'm going to hold fire for a second. Okay, that's way too far. Still way too far. Adjusting the fire. Okay, that seems okay. So let's open up with everything. Sadly, he just moved away the second I opened fire, so I didn't get a lot of hits in that one. So next in line we have to deal with a Trincomaly which is coming our way, and we have all those enemy big red blob to our starboard side. Of course, my biggest concern right now is the Trincomaly, because the Trincomaly is coming our way and is the one we have closest. The other guys to our right, well, they have maybe other ships to shoot at, but that Trincomaly probably is looking at us. So being really careful here, because we don't want to fall to his fire. I'm slowing down a little bit here, presenting a frontal aspect, because I want to give him a very narrow arc of fire where he can hit me. Also, he has another of our ships to the other side, so he will have to split his attention. In the meantime, I check if there's something worth fighting to my starboard. There is not, and I finally decide that, well, I'm close enough to open fire on this guy. Go past his rear, open up. Do a fast reversal of my direction towards right. Thankfully, it seems that he collided with one of his own allies, so probably now he's thinking about other things than shooting at me. Also, as you can see, he's tilted because of the collision, so maybe he doesn't have a proper solution. So I unleashed the double broadside, and now he's shooting back. Ow! Okay, that hurts because that was the side that I had most damaged. So I pop a repair, because obviously with that little armoring weight of the size and with a damaged pump, flooding will become a problem soon enough. But well, I have smelled blood on the water. This Trincomaly is really aching. So what I'm going to do now is to try to finish him off. But if in the meantime I can unleash a little broadside to this surprise, well, that's a big plus, isn't it? Come past the Trincomaly, open up on his rear, and I have to be careful again because my left side, my port side, is really aching. I have a lot of damage in that side. I don't want to receive another volley on that area. So what I'm going to do is Instead of turning towards the enemy Trincomalee, what I'm going to do is to turn away from it, so he doesn't have an easy target on me. While doing so, as well, I'm going to come close to one of my bigger ships. Our Constitution is directly in front of us, and open my starboard side guns to give another shot to that Trincomalee, which of course is not going to last very long. As you can see, I'm just shooting one by one, ensuring the hits. I stop fire while our friend crosses our position. Resume it as soon as it's clear. Okay, and the last shots in quick succession. I'm heading almost directly into the wind, so what I'm going to do is to do a full tack, because most of the enemies are on my port side, and again my port side is the one which is aching, and I want that side to get out of the enemy arcs of fire as soon as possible. As you can see, I'm already being targeted by some enemies. So by doing this, I'm going to put my damage side out of the enemy fire arcs. And well, now I will complete the attack and accelerate towards the other side. Problem is that this Trincomalee to my left is not looking. So yeah, I have to warn him in chat because a collision is almost imminent here and I can't do anything to avoid it. Thankfully he spots it, he slows down, allows me to pass on. And now Max's next move is obviously going to go for I'm going to go for that frigate in front of me. I didn't expect to still be afloat by now because he was really aching from before, but still afloat. Well, still a target of high priority. I set myself directly into the wind to win a proper firing angle. Open up. Reverse my movement, get out of the wind using the yard position to get me out of the wind, and then accelerate towards him. All the time trying to keep my port side masked, because I don't want to receive more fire there. Yeah, things are looking really nasty for Ultra Macan. Privateer crosses him. Probably he's going to unleash from very close range. There you go. Yeah, he's looking really damaged. Still reluctant to show my port side, as you can see. So I'm going to go the other side. And I did well because otherwise I would have eaten all those balls. And essentially put the finishing blow. That guy is dead. So well, our work here is done. Well, one of our big frigates is not doing really well. Well, he's going to repair, so no big deal. Close the turn, going slowly, and finally in the position to accelerate towards the enemy. I go into survival mode because, well, I'm having a little bit of trouble with a little bit of water on board. The pump is damaged, it's not coping well with it, so, well, you can take these chances when you are not actually fighting, but rather moving towards the fight, to go into survival, get rid of all the water you might have accumulated, repair the leaks you might have, and well, when you reach the combat again, want to do so in the best situation possible. Next in line is going to be Felbred in his snow. Now that's a very good player. That's a name I recognize from a lot of battles. I know he's really good. Being a very good player, he's in a very small ship, so probably he's being ignored for most of the battle right now. And it's time someone pays attention to him. Also, being a Cerberus, I'm the perfect match to go for him. A big frigate should be looking for enemy big frigates to shoot at, not to shoot at a small snow. I'm a very light frigate, so my ideal target is right that, an enemy snow. Also, there's the added benefit that the snow is not really fast and he's in a very exposed situation. So all I have to do is to catch on him, and well, I have a privateer with us, so that's going to make things easier when we decide to go for him. I swap 4 ball ammunition in the right side because I don't know if he's going to keep on going away like he's doing so now, or maybe he will try to turn our way. But if he turns our way, well, single shot is good enough. But if he goes away, double shot won't reach his position and we won't be able to even touch him. So I'm going to unmask my port battery, my starboard battery, sorry. And I'm going to take some shots at him. He's turning a little bit away, he's trying to make his ship smaller, but I can counter that by firing my guns one by one, timing the firing adequately so I can hit most of my shots. Well, he realizes he's not going to avoid my fire, he turns again. Now he's offering me a big target, so I can fire the rest of the shots in quick succession. I turn towards him again and come closer. Also, the privateer here is doing a pretty good job in keeping him busy, so I mean, it's not as if I was going to have a lot of trouble with a small snow, but any help you have is always welcome. So now I slow down. I still have a standard ball ammunition instead of double shot. He probably is shooting double right now. But well, ball ammunition is good enough versus a lighter ship. These are 9-pounders, so they should do a lot of damage. And so they do. He's keeping his turn, so now what I want to do is to slow down. As you can see, I have turned my yards to be parallel with the wind. That means that I'm not getting a lot of thrust. So when he goes past, because I have slowed down, I can reverse my yards, turn at maximum speed, and immediately deliver a double shot broadside on the other side. He's shaking hard, but he's repairing. I know he's still not going down. I spot some targets on the other side. That's a Navy brig. So, well, I have my guns loaded. They are standard ball, so I have the range, and I can hit him. And I'm of course going to do so. Now I spot that the Cerberus and his snow, they are heading directly towards one of our constitutions. So there's no sense in me going to finish him. He's going to be finished anyway. Dogman is going to destroy him. So I don't have to go for him. I'd rather focus my fire on that Navy brig on my starboard side. I popped my last repair because flooding is really becoming a pain in the ass. Also, I'm at 50% health on both sides, so why not? Okay, Navy brig coming closer. Open up with my starboard side guns, and well, you can see the flooding, it's really slowing me down a lot, and I'm not turning as fast as I should, but still these yard positions and well, the space we have means that I'm going to get a double broadside. And that's what we are about to achieve, because he's coming. Port side guns, open up, keep them on target, and that should be it. And soon enough he's going to say so in chat that he's going down. So right now we don't have a lot left to shoot at, because the enemy I think is down to two ships, and one of them is that brig, and that brig is going down. So I'm going to go to survival to get rid of this pesky flooding I have, and well, to finish the battle. Now, well, what I was saying at the beginning of the battle, as you can see, this is not a big show of magnificent proportions of me dealing a shitload of damage to the enemy. This is me just feeling unglamorous role. Sometimes you have to do it because you don't have the ship to do anything else. And the Cerberus is a very solid ship to do it. The problem is, of course, that it's a little bit underwhelming, because if you can be the one who's destroying the enemy, why you shouldn't be one? Well, I also have fun now and then playing these medium class ships. But of course, it's much more fun to be in a small ship and troll the big guns, or to be the big guns themselves. But still, I think this is a good representation and a good battle to understand what you should do when you are neither the biggest guy in the battle in your team, nor the smallest. Just be smart, support your team, target smaller ships, guard your biggest ships so they aren't trolled by small ships, and well, shoot when you can. And you will do that. You will see that we did pretty well in this battle. So, well, yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed, guys. I hope you had fun. As always, thank you very much for watching, and see you later.